lightning rods. The Eagles, at long last, are Super Bowl champs. And the Lombardi Trophy for Doug Peterson, Jeff Lurie, the owner, Howie Roseman, the GM, Nick Foles wasn't even in the picture until December. And the Philadelphia Eagles have turned back the dynasty of all dynasties, the New England Patriots. The Eagles fly, Eagles fly. And welcome everybody to NFL Primetime here on the floor in Minneapolis. And man, the Rockets red glare. I am with Hall of Famer Steve Young and Hall of Famer Randy Moss.
Boom. That sound good, boom.
And we saw Hall of Fame game, guys. The Philadelphia Eagles played with the moxie of the city that they represent.
Look,
I don't know how better to say
it right now. MVP Nick Foles outdueled Tom Brady and the biggest offensive show in the history of the Super Bowl. And he made the plays and scored the touchdown that turned the game in the last part of the fourth quarter more than anyone else that had done against the Brady era. Who's done that to the Patriots through the years? Nick Foles did it, and he did it in a way that was dramatic. And it was, it's like, to me, Nick Foles is the story. I know there's stories galore, but when you have the biggest offensive output in the history of the Super Bowls, and did I read it? History of the playoffs?
Because if more yards in any game of any time.
And it's Nick Foles against Tom Brady, and he outduels him. That's it.
I have to give kudos and shout out to that defense. Coach Swartz, defensive coordinator, and that defense. Yeah, they did put up a record-breaking Super Bowl, but I said this morning on Sunday Countdown how the defensive line had to play 4 quarters of football and beat their one-on-one coverage. At the end of the game, you see Fletcher Cox's double. Guess who came up with the big play? Graham. That was a big play by him. That sealed the deal.
But how about play calling? And we'll show highlights in a moment to get Nick Foles in rhythm right away. Look, the Philadelphia Eagles, #1 seed in the NFC. Underdog all 3 playoff games. Man, if that's not a classic Philadelphia story. They love that role, and they played like the chip on their shoulders was a mile high.
But they leaned into this. I think Doug Peterson flipped the script. People talked about with Nick Foles, are we going to protect him? He flipped it and basically said, I'm the play caller, I'm the coach, you protect me. I'm going to open up everything, the whole playbook. I'm going to be as aggressive as I've ever been, and you take care of me. I thought that the idea of what he did in the championship game, and then he did the same thing here.
Yes.
Nick, you go win this for us. And Nick made the big plays. He constantly, the whole game. They brought 5. The pressure came. The offensive line did a superior job holding them back and just made play after play after. Clearly, there's a lot of help. But I think in this situation, when Tom Brady's sitting on the other side and he's having the most prolific game in the history of the Super Bowl, and you keep answering, the seeds were sown by Doug Peterson in the championship game, flipping the script and telling Nick Foles, you go be the MVP.
You sit there talking about the head coach Doug Peterson, former quarterback. One thing that I know about quarterbacks, they just want to continue to throw the ball, stay aggressive. But as a head coach with a quarterback background, he has won in this league before. I was very impressed by how he stayed aggressive with his running back play. He threw the touchdown to Clement. He had Clement up the sideline with the pick. So kudos to them, the Philadelphia Eagles, Coach Peterson, with the Super Bowl. Young coach, I like what he's doing in Philly, man.
They had some players like New England. Who was James White? No. Clement, Aguilar. we will go on and on and on. So the storyline here at Super Bowl 52. Early in the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick run, they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Only the Cowboys in the early 90s had done that. Could they, toward the end, win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years? There's your storyline going in against an underrated, growing before everyone else's eyes, not on their own, Philadelphia Eagles team that said, oh, you don't give us any respect? Well, we'll show you Atlanta, and then we'll show you Minnesota, and then we'll show you New England. And in a game so hot, it took temperatures that were below 0 here in Minneapolis and turned it into springtime. Here we go. If you missed some of it from Super Bowl